Alright guys, so today what I want to do is kind of go over, in my opinion, what are the two best tracks and the two worst tracks. We're going to start here with Palinbang, and this is, in my opinion, the worst track in the game. By far. Pretty by far. It was, when I was really thinking about it, I was like, yeah, it's definitely Palinbang. And then everything else was a little bit harder to decide if I was going to rank them from very worst to very best. So the reason, this is the newest track that we got. It was added in the newest update that they gave us. And in the beginning it was like, oh, this is cool, it's different, it's kind of fun, but it really isn't. And I didn't see the real race, but from what I understand, it was built in a parking lot. So, you know, similar to a Supercross race where they have to haul in dirt and have a floor plan, but it's so boring. It's a very boring track. I've heard that guys said that you can ride the track in first gear and clear everything, so no real challenge to it. I mean, maybe in real life, and I'm not saying it's made bad in the game. If this is how it was done in real life, it's just a not fun track. Whether it was in real life or in game, it's just not really that fun. It's a very boring track. Everything's really little. The scaling on it's not fun. I mean, yeah, give me a pit bike and maybe it'll be fun then, but on a 250 or a 450, it definitely isn't. I haven't tried the 125, but I still feel like it won't be very fun. I mean, there's a section of well, I guess in the game it's basically a big whoop section coming up here, but it feels like it's supposed to be a double. You're supposed to double through these. Let me know in the comments if you saw the real race. I don't really know if that's the case, but there is absolutely no way to do it because of the way it's built in the game. So basically it's just big whoops, or maybe it's supposed to be a section of spaced out rollers. I really don't know, but just not fun. Really bad. I feel like it's pretty unanimous if you play the game that this is the worst track. When I was trying to decide the second worst track, it was a little bit harder. And that's what we were going to be coming up to next. So let me know in the comments what you guys think is the worst track in the game. I'd be curious to see, and we can kind of compare and, you know, whatever. But I feel like it's, most people are going to feel like it's Palinbang. So let's hop on over into the second worst track in the game. Alright, so for our second least favorite track, I chose Great Britain. And I know, some of you guys might really enjoy this track. For me, it feels a little bit broken. Okay, so the layout of the track is fine. I feel like the scaling is not bad. It feels like Matterley Basin. And I've enjoyed it in all past titles, and it's one of my favorite in real life. It's one of the few MXGP tracks actually am a little bit familiar with. So I really love the track, so it's really hard. It pains me to put this as my second least favorite, and the reason I do is because I feel like the physics here are a little bit broken. Okay, so this track gets really rough. Great, awesome, I love it, but the cornering physics get really weird here, in my opinion. I don't know what it is. It's like you try to corner and 24 hours later you might actually get out. You know, it's weird. And the scaling of some of the jumps feels off too. So there's a rhythm section that's going to be coming up where you should be able to double through it, but you double, and then you kind of basically just turn it into whoops on the way out. And this corner after a lap with the AI is completely broken. It just feels completely broken to me, as opposed to every other track in the game. There you kind of saw, so we double, and then it's whoops on the way out. Really weird. And then there's a couple jumps. There's a double somewhere here, and then there's a triple before the finish line that I'm not saying you can't get over it, okay? If you had good gearing setup and everything, maybe. But even here, we clip it a little bit. I don't really have too much of a problem anywhere else. I mean, a little bit, but not very much. And even here, change the gearing and maybe it wouldn't be a problem. But it just bothers me. It annoys me. It just does. It's just the way it is. It's how I feel about it. So Yes, unfortunately, Great Britain, I've loved you in all past games, and I love it in real life. But here, it feels like in the game, the way they made it, it just kind of has a feeling of being a little bit broken. And it's really unfortunate, and, you know, whatever, but it's the way it is. So, yes, that is my two least favorite tracks. Let me know in the comments what your guys' two least favorite tracks are in order. So your second to your first, because I'd be curious to see how ours match up. But let's hop on over into our best favorite two tracks. So for one of my favorite tracks, this is the France track, the French track. And I don't really know what it is, but the tracks in France, I always seem to enjoy them. I believe we did see this track in MXGP2 for the Motocross Destinations. Maybe it was in another game too, but it was for sure in that game. And it's very similar, very, very similar to how it was there. And I love that track in MXGP2. And I love it just as much in this game. It has the elevation. I mean, let's just talk about that. A lot of the new tracks, like Shanghai doesn't have a ton. Is it Turkey? Doesn't have a ton either on that track. Gosh, there's a couple. There's a few tracks that are really, really flat. And I'm not saying that makes them a bad track. I mean, obviously I didn't put them on my least favorite, but you know, since we have those tracks, it's fun to have a track such as this that does have the elevation. And it has a lot. You're always going up and down, and you know, here when we come back by the hole shot, and then you're riding around the top, and you hop down here. It's just a fun track. It's a really fun track, and it's one of my favorites. So this was an easy one. This was a fairly easy track to choose because it was actually the first track I chose to record. But when I thought back to it, I don't know if it's my favorite track, but it's definitely in the top two. Number one and number two could definitely be interchanged. So yes, really good. I know that I chose it for MXGP Pro as well, or a French track for MXGP Pro. And I know there was a lot of guys that disagreed with me and said that that track is really annoying. But I chose that for the same reasons. It was reasons. Yes, reasons. It had the elevation. It was a tougher track to play. It maybe did have its annoying parts, but it was fun. It was a really fun track. Really enjoyed it. And I feel the same about this. So this is, what is this? We're going to put it at number 2 for now. This is number 2 on my 2 favorite tracks list. So coming in at number 1, I am choosing Latvia. Yes, there was a few. Okay, it was actually really, really tough to choose, but I'm going to give my reason why I am choosing Latvia for number 1. And the biggest reason is it's running, if you haven't noticed, it's running backwards. They turned it around. So they kept the basic layout of the track. They didn't really change much of anything, but they turned it around. And if you follow MXGP the season, you knew this already, but I don't, so I didn't. And I believe that Kegums, sorry, I say that wrong. Everybody always tells me how badly I'm saying that. But Latvia, here we go. Let's just say Latvia is, or has been in every MXGP game. I believe it has been, and it's always been the same. Always. It hasn't changed, like, at all. And now, when I was doing Championship, it was like, you know, whoa, they completely turned it around. I remember coming into this corner and overshooting it like crazy because I had no idea that they did that. So really awesome. It's a nice refresher to a track that's always been there and always been in the game, and it's always been a favorite for people in multiplayer. I know people like to choose this and Lomel. I don't know if it's because they're easier tracks, but Yeah, these are two tracks that are always chosen. For reasons I was mentioning, I chose France earlier. This track is relatively flat. I mean, yeah, we go up a little bit here and there, but for the most part, it's flat. So I like it for completely different reasons. I mean, this rhythm section coming up here, it's not really a rhythm section, but if you hit it just right, you kind of have to face into that one. You can actually double over it and then get a better rhythm. And then this is all different too. So really enjoy this track. Let me know what your guys' two favorite and two least favorite tracks are in the comments down below. Would be really curious to see if you have any of the same ones I have, or if some of my least favorite is your favorite. Is Palinbang your favorite track? Let me know. Don't be ashamed to say it if it is. But you guys and girls are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for the support on the channel lately. It really, 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 really does mean a lot. And until the next video, take it easy.